The rivalry between you guys and the Sixers, it goes back a long way. You've been the two most successful teams. No one can argue that fact. But some of the battles that you've had, and you've been part of so many of them, what's that rivalry like?
I think it's just nice. We know that they're obviously super successful, and they have a very, well, from the outside, it looks like they have a very similar philosophy to us with their local players and things like that. And, they've obviously been very good, and we've had a few tussles in the finals over the years. It's always nice to beat them. We always know that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think with the players that they've had come in the latter stages of the year, obviously creates a new challenge for us. But we know how good we play at home. We know that teams don't necessarily like travelling to Perth to play. So I think it's going to be a great battle. I think it's going to be, we always love beating them, and I can assure you that they would say the same thing, that we're probably on the top of their list of teams to beat. So I think it's just naturally when the two most successful clubs come up against each other, it's almost that, what would you say? It's almost like not the rights to say that you're the best team, but it's, you always want to get one up on each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bragging rights. Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I'm not sure if you've heard of this guy, but there's a guy called Steve Smith who plays for the Sixers. He's pretty good, and he's in really good form at the moment, and it does feel like he's got a bit of a point to prove. This could be a good battle, you and him.
I think so. I think it'll be good. I think, we know, I think he scored don't know what it was, but he scored a big score against us last year at SCG. But Optus brings a new challenge, I reckon. He's obviously batted there in Test match cricket, but I think the wicket might be slightly different to what they get in Test matches. We'll see which team adapts quicker. Whether Steve sort of, I don't know. I think it's going to be a great battle. Hopefully, we can get him out cheaply, but we know how good he is.
Is he the hardest to bowl to just because of his idiosyncrasies, just how different he is, the way he moves around the crease, the way he engineers the ball into unusual places? Does that make him, his average, his stats speak for themselves, but just the way he is at the crease, not to be distracted with what he's doing and just focus on what you're doing? Does that make it hard?
I don't think it's the idiosyncrasies themselves that make it difficult. I think when everything's on display, when I think Steve Smith is displaying everything and doing random things, I think that's when he's in the contest. And I think that is what is probably more intimidating than the actual actions themselves. I think that he's ready for the fight. He's ready to, do everything. And that he can hit the ball in strange areas. I don't think it's necessarily the idiosyncrasies themselves. It's the fact that he's in the contest when they're on display.
And then you and Mitchell Starc, we were talking before about rivalries between the teams. Mitchell bowling 145 at one end and you hopefully bowling 145 from the same end but in different colours. Is that something that you kind of use as a bit of petrol for your car?
Potentially, but I think the reality is, you have to concentrate on your own game. I think there will be an element on, let's say if they bowl first, it'll be interesting to see, getting a couple of little ideas whether or not, he's swinging the ball, whether or not he's not swinging the ball, what the pitch is doing. It's not so much about what he's doing on a personal level that'll get me going. It's more about seeing, what we can expect. If they bowl first, I'll be looking at if he's swinging the ball, if the ball's doing anything off the wicket. So I think we know if Starc is up and running, then he's swinging the ball nicely, like we saw the other night as well. He was swinging the ball and got early wickets. So, it's more about just seeing what happens generally rather than, what Starkey's doing on a personal level, I guess.